wanted to do a video about normalizing men talking about kind of these hectic issues like abuse, false allegations, etc. So this comes off the back of, I was at a wedding recently and I started talking to a guy. Never met this guy before. He didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. And we were just chatting, small talk, getting to kind of know each other. And he started telling me about his daughter, and then he said, but I haven't seen her in a while. And I said, oh, why not? And he said, oh, mother's stopping me seeing my daughter. And then it got into the fact that she's made up all these things about him because she doesn't want him around. So she's given all these allegations, and he's saying it's, he couldn't believe it because it's stuff she's doing, but she's accused him of it. And now he's having to fight to see his own daughter. And obviously I then said to him, well, you're speaking to the right person because this is actually what I do for a living. And I, told him about the books I write and about how I campaign for men's rights and awareness. And he actually ended up breaking down in tears and crying because he said it's the first time he's really opened up and spoken to someone. It's because he had had a few drinks. And he really felt like awkward and self-aware and thought I was going to judge him. And he said, the fact that I understood what he was talking about and listened to him and tried to help him, really got to him. And, I've just been thinking about this since then. And, this is a random guy I bumped into at a wedding, and this is happening to him. And we know this is happening across the world, happening so many times where guys are getting taken away from seeing their kids. There's false allegations flying around. There's incidents of abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, psychological and physical as well sometimes. This is rife, and it's very normal nowadays to find people that this is happening to. And I thought, it's normalized, abuse against men, false allegations against men. This has been normalized. But what's not normalized is a guy just talking to another guy saying, hey, here's my problems that I've got. This is what's happening to me. And he was embarrassed and ashamed and didn't want to say it. And it's literally because he had had a few beers that he decided now he could talk about this. And then to end up in tears because I listened to him. Obviously he can end up in tears because the situation's horrible, but literally because he was so relieved that someone would actually listen to him. It's ludicrous. We really, really need to normalize the fact that we as men can just go and talk to people and say, this is what's happening in my life. This is what's going on. It's a really hard topic. It's not a nice thing to talk about, but you need to be able to talk about it. And society needs to be broken down to that point that men are allowed to talk about it. It's not this, oh, man up, be solemn, be quiet. Talk about it. You've got women going through these things that they can talk to their friends. Some people don't want to as women as well, but the women are more likely to go and talk to people, their family, their friends about certain issues like this. But as men, we feel that we can't, and we really need to normalize that. So guys, if you're going through this, talk to someone about it. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to someone, like me or someone doing the work I do. We understand. Feel free to reach out, talk to someone, but don't just keep it to yourself, because that's what these people doing these things to you want. They want you to be isolated. They want you to be separated from everyone else, that you don't have as much advice, control, support. But take that step. It's not easy, but take the step, open up to someone, and I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised with how people are willing to receive it and offer their support and offer their guidance and offer their help. So yeah, let's make sure this is normalized. If you're looking for more information around domestic abuse, narcissism, or false allegations, and want to see the effect this has on men and their families, also interviews with other victims and survivors, I have written 5 books on the subject that are filled with information, interviews, statistics, and written from a man's perspective of all the things that have happened to me and people I've interviewed. So please grab those. They're on Amazon. Some of them are on Audible as well. If you go to my website, jaredwhitaker.com, all the information is there. Getting these books helps support the work I do in raising awareness for men and their families. So please go and have a look at those.